Pawtucket is a very strong and resilient community. We will learn from one another. We will support one another, and together we will get through this.
That's Pawtucket Mayor Don Grubian speaking a short time ago. He's talking about the long-lasting impact of yesterday's deadly shooting at Lynch Arena, and that includes a half-dozen communities represented at the hockey game yesterday. People across the region are deeply touched by this senseless act of violence. Good evening, I'm Patrice Wood.
And hello once again, everybody. I'm Dan Janik. State leaders announcing support tools for those who need them, maybe you or your family. We're going to have those for you coming up. But new tonight, we now know the names of those involved in yesterday's deadly shooting. As we reported last night, the shooter is 56-year-old Robert Dorgan. Police say they also went by Roberta Dorgan or Roberta Esposito. Robert's ex-wife, Rhonda Dorgan, died at the scene. A son, Aiden Dorgan, died at the hospital. The three people still in critical condition at this hour include Rhonda's parents, Linda and Gerald Dorgan, and Thomas Geruso, identified tonight as a family friend.
Gene Valicenti is live in Pawtucket tonight, kicking off our Team 10 coverage. Gene?
Dan and Patrice, there are no outward signs of what happened here yesterday. It looks normal. We're on the side street by the players' entrance. But if you look closely, you will see signs that something's amiss. For example, I'll step out. You'll see bouquets of flowers placed against the wall with a hockey stick. A few feet down, you'll see some first responders' emergency gloves taken off in the heat of battle last night. In the parking lot, a couple of cars in the back. They look like they haven't been picked up. But close to the front door, 3 trucks from trauma services. They clean up crime scenes. That's not normal. We're starting to get answers. They're coming in. A third press conference, actually, today that our NBC 10's Nicole Mader was at. She covers this live for us now to bring us up to date on what police are saying. Nicole?
Yeah, we got a lot of new information at that press conference. The chief tells us, the police chief, the Pawtucket police chief, that 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, that's his legal name, he fired on his family and that he had 2 firearms on him, a Glock 10mm and a SIG 226.
Our state experienced an unthinkable tragedy.
24 hours after that tragic mass shooting in Pawtucket, new details about what went down.
What I can confirm now is that the suspect was Robert Dorgan. His date of birth is July 15th of 1969. One of the victims was his ex-wife, Rhonda Dorgan, and also his son, adult son Aiden Dorgan.
And bystanders stepped in, saving lives.
I can tell you that individuals on site, several bystanders, I would say that probably whether they have been family or friends of the individuals playing hockey, stepped in. They intervened, and at least 3 bystanders were able to circum the suspect. At that time, the suspect did reach for a second firearm, and he did inflict a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Pawtucket Police Chief Tina Gonsalves saying the motive is unknown.
It was their senior night, and there was no expectations or any indication that there was going to be any type of violence yesterday at the arena.
Police say the suspect frequently went to his son's hockey games, and video does not appear to show an altercation between the suspect and his family before the incident.
But as far as we know, there was not a conversation nor a confrontation between the family and Dorgan right before the incident.
The suspect had a license to carry.
He did have a license to carry out of Florida, so we are working to see if they had a license to carry anywhere else.
So all of the elected leaders at that press conference said that this horrific act of violence never should have happened at a high school stadium. And the governor of Rhode Island outlined how the state is going to double down on its efforts to support victims of domestic violence across the state. Gene, back to you.
All right, thanks. Headline at that news conference for me, no motive yet. And that's because they haven't been able to speak to the 3 people in critical condition in the hospital, the grandparents and that family friend. No motive yet. We don't know if they exchanged words before, if something was said. Was there stress in the family? We know his living life as a woman was a source of stress in his divorce and other things that were in town. More on that to come. In the meantime, NBC 10's Liana Falk is covering a vigil just getting underway in Smithfield tonight. Liana?
Yeah, Gene, we are here in North Smithfield at Slaterville Congregational Church, which has been open all day for parishioners and community members to arrive and really just grieve and mourn what's happened over the last 24 hours. We can see just behind me some of them starting to arrive. You're also seeing some members of the media here as well. But as we've been here, we have seen community members, hockey players, athletes, friends, family members of Rhonda and Aiden, people who knew them or knew someone that knew them, arriving just to simply share their respects. Now, we know Rhode Island is small, but what's even smaller is the hockey community in this state. And so having something like this where everyone can kind of come together and just be together, be one, and kind of feel the love of this community has been very, very important. Speaking with the pastor and also speaking with the town administrator just moments ago, we learned that this has really been important for the community. They've wanted an opportunity to come together and just let everyone know that they are in this together. It's a part of what makes Rhode Island, right? And so it's been really important for them to have this opportunity. We're going to be staying here throughout the evening, speaking with people and trying to get a better understanding of how this community is feeling. Gene.
All right, thanks. There are funerals to pay for. And if you want to help, there's a GoFundMe page set up to help this family shattered tonight, just 24 hours after the gunfire. NBC 10's Molly Levine picks up that part of the story. She's in North Providence. Molly?
Well, Gene, Amanda tells me that her father struggled with mental health issues for his entire adult life. She says that he had been living in Maine, but it really wasn't unusual for him to show up at his son's hockey games here in Rhode Island.
He shows up to Collins games often, so I wasn't terribly surprised.
The daughter of the suspected shooter who opened fire in the stands at the Dennis Lynch Arena Monday, describing the moments before her family's lives changed forever.
He actually walked up to us while we were sitting in the stand, and then I looked at him and he turned around and walked away.
Later, shots rang out, fans took cover, and players skated off the ice. Amanda says the shooter was a father of 6, and the victims were all family members. His ex-wife Rhonda and son Aiden were killed. Aiden recently proposed to his fiancée, who was also at the game, but not injured. Amanda says they were all in the stand supporting her brother Colin. The 17-year-old was playing on the ice at the time and wasn't injured. Pawtucket police identified the gunman as Robert Dorgan, who also went by Roberta Esposito. Amanda just referred to him as Rob, or her father.
I think his gender identity issues are a symptom of a deeper issue.
She says her father struggled with mental health for most of his adult life.
He was ostracized from the family because he had a long history of violence and abuse.
But as for the motive Monday, there was no boiling point, there was no tipping point, there was no signs?
No, he's always had a very bizarre way about him.
She says the focus is now on her surviving siblings, Ava, a hardworking nursing student, and Colin, a high school senior, launching this GoFundMe in hopes to support them financially.
But Ava and Colin have a long road ahead of them. Their grandparents were also impacted by this. I just want to make sure that the focus remains on, supporting them, through the coming months and years.
Now, as Amanda mentioned, Rhonda's parents were also injured in this shooting, still fighting for their lives in the hospital tonight. Now, a link to that GoFundMe is on our website. That's turnto10.com. It's now up to $136,000. I'm live in North Providence. Molly Levine, NBC 10 News.
All right, Molly, thanks. As I stand outside here, just across the street, there's a mural on the side of this ice rink, and it's a history of the city of Pawtucket. Things we know, the elephant, trolley cars, the carousel. Can you imagine what I put that on so many years ago, wondering or never imagining what might happen here? I don't know if they want to amend that mural someday or maybe just forget about the whole thing because it's too painful. All right, live in Pawtucket by the Lynch Arena, I'm Gene Valicenti. Now back to you.
All right, thanks to the whole team out there. And among the shooter's victims was his ex-wife. And the NBC 10i team has learned that she filed for divorce 6 years ago today. According to court records, gender issues appeared to be a factor. The shooter's given name is Robert Dorgan, but he went by Roberta Esposito.
And also supporting gun rights and right-wing views on social media. The I-Team's Brian Crandall has been digging and investigating all day. He's back on the scene in Pawtucket. Brian?
Well, Dana Patrice, the Pawtucket police chief, said here a short time ago that they'd be looking through Robert Dorgan's thousands of social media posts over the years. Included in that, he was an open book about being transgender, and that did appear to be part of family problems that previously boiled over, according to court records, 6 years ago this month. And just 2 days ago, Dorgan took exception to anti-trans comments on social media.
Sunday, the day before the shooting, Dorgan defended being transgender on social media, replying to trans criticism from national right-wing figures Alex Jones and Kevin Sorbo by stating, quote, "Keep bashing us, but do not wonder why we go berserk." But Dorgan's Twitter X profile is full of reposting well-known right-wing figures, usually liking what they post. Anti-immigration, racist memes, election fraud conspiracy, Epstein file cover-up claims, including from Jones. Dorgan posted back in 2017 he got a sex change, and in 2018 that, quote, "My wife says she hates the person who stole her husband." Late in 2018, Dorgan posted, "I'm a gun fanatic trans woman. Don't light my fuse." In February 2020, Dorgan accused his mother of screaming at him during his son's hockey game that he was a horrible transsexual and punching him in the face. As a result, Dorgan's mother was charged with domestic assault 6 years ago today. That same day, Dorgan's wife Rhonda filed for divorce. The divorce papers state the reason was gender reassignment surgery and narcissistic and personality disorder traits. But that was crossed out and changed to irreconcilable differences. Police documents show the next day, Dorgan went to officers claiming his father-in-law threatened him to drop the charges against his mother or he'd have an Asian gang kill him. And to move out of the house he owns, Dorgan claimed his father-in-law told him, quote, "There's no way a tranny is going to live in my house." The father-in-law faced charges of witness intimidation, but those charges and the charge against Dorgan's mother were eventually dropped.
And again, Dorgan's father-in-law is among the shooting victims now in the hospital. Now, as you heard from Dorgan's daughter, he was living in Maine. According to his social media, he moved there in 2021. He was also working there. Bath Iron Works shipyard in Maine confirms to NBC 10 that he was an employee. I'm live in Pawtucket. Brian Crandall, NBC 10 News.
Brian Crandall uncovering a troubled past. Brian, thank you. Well, the state has set up an online support hub for anyone impacted by the shooting, and that might be you or maybe a family member. You can visit governor.ri.gov/support hub. Now, the web address is on our screen, but if you can't write it down enough, you'll find, we'll have it on our website for you, but you're also going to find virtual and in-person mental health services, guidance for families, and support for kids. As I said, there's a link right now on turnto10.com. Trust NBC 10 to monitor the investigation into the hockey rink shooting in Pawtucket. Bring you new developments as they happen. Get updates anytime you can at turnto10.com or the NBC 10 News app.